As I begin this recording, a friendly reminder to please keep your audio and video disabled. Nothing that you put in the chat will appear in the recording. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Dr. Benoit, you are welcome to begin.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the community of San Antonio to have me today to come speak to you about the power of rituals. I'm really excited to talk to you about this. So feel free to put any questions in the chat as we are going through the presentation. And once again, a little reminder to put yourself on mute. You have an opportunity to ask questions in the chat, and I will definitely get to them. So thank you so much, San Antonio. My name is Dr. Monisha Benoit, and I'm coming to talk to you about my book called The Anatomy of Wellbeing, Intentional Practices to Embrace Your Body's Unique Design and Revitalize Your Health. Now, just a quick disclaimer, all content in this presentation is created for informational purposes and educational purposes only. Always seek the guidance of your doctor and other qualified professionals with any questions you may have regarding your own health and medical condition, and this presentation does not create a physician-patient relationship. I am a doctor, but I am not your doctor. And Brooke already gave you a little bit about my introduction. So I am a medical doctor. I am trained in quite a few specialties, from internal medicine, integrative medicine at the Andrew Weil Center for Integrative Medicine, as well as anatomic, clinical, and cytopathology, where I was able to diagnose so many diseases over the past decades and so. And I'm also trained in functional medicine and culinary medicine, which are two specialties that I'm very passionate about teaching. So with that, what exactly do I do? Well, I share a lot of my information through my book. I spend a lot of time combining ancient wisdom with mind-body science to naturally biohack the human body. I have been featured in many online publications, including Shape, Nike, Pop Sugar, Thrive Global, Mind Body Green, who you may be familiar with. And I do both online workshops and trainings, as well as in-person well-being retreats. So when I'm talking about the power of rituals, what exactly do I mean? Well, most of us fall into daily habits, whether those habits are helping us or they're not. They're maybe our routines that inadvertently attack our energy production from the very beginning of the day. They might inhibit our sleep or maybe even set us up to feel anxious. And some of those habits might even set us up for chronic disease. And that's exactly why I wrote this book, The Anatomy of Wellbeing. So you'll have a chance to examine every aspect of your life and take intentional, mindful steps in your lifestyle to transform your well-being. So this particular presentation is just an excerpt from many more pages that are in the book and many more talks that I give. But I always think we should start with the foundation. So the foundation of this is really us understanding what's the difference between habits, routines, and rituals. How exactly do rituals work, and maybe even some rituals in practice so you can put those into practice. As I like to do with all my presentations, I like to start with a mindful moment or a meditation. So I'm going to ask you, I can't see you, so I'm going to ask you, if you're not already seated, to take a moment, sit down, close your eyes, and I'm actually going to turn my camera off just for a moment so you're not distracted with me talking, because I really want you to feel into the presence of this mindful moment. And then I will be right back on camera in a second. So with this meditation, find yourself seated, comfortable, and closing your eyes if you feel comfortable, or just lowering your gaze. I welcome you to a new day, a new opportunity to shine from within. During today's meditation, know that there is a new opportunity ahead of you to connect in a meaningful, powerful, love, and truthful way. Make your soul's purpose and your heart's passion the focus of your life. Soften your shoulders, close your eyes gently, and begin to relax into the experience. Let the quiet wisdom of your higher self and the steadiness, stillness of your heart hold you in love for the few next moments. Inhale deeply for 5 counts and exhale for 6 counts. This time, inhale a bit deeper for a count of 5 and exhale slowly for a count of 6. As each breath becomes softer, deeper, and more relaxed, we are letting go more and more. Next time you inhale, imagine your breath warming and brightly flowing through the parts of your body that might still feel a little tight or low today. And then as you exhale, visualize the breath leaving your body completely. Allowing yourself to let go of everything that is not serving you so that you can create more space for light and love. Take a few more breaths on your own. Feel the relaxation seeping through your body as you allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. Continue to relax your whole body, including your shoulders, face, and jaw. Let's begin by setting our intentions for the day from within. Take a deep breath and exhale the same way. Follow your inner wisdom to ask, what intention do I need today to connect powerfully, lead gracefully, and love deeply? When you exhale, let the answer settle in. Listen to your heart now. Let the intuition ignite your wisdom. As we close your meditation, feel the weight of your body holding you, grounding you. Embrace the fact that all the answers you seek are already within you, waiting to lead the way to you. Feel the space around you, the ground beneath you, your feet as you move your wrists and ankles, offering gratitude for the opportunity of self-care. Give thanks to your body, mind, and heart. Thank you for showing up for you today. My sincere hope is that you enjoyed your meditation and you feel free to come back at any time. Taking your next deep breath, slowly open your eyes and allow the light to enter you. All the ingredients you need for fulfilling life already exist inside you. I wish you continued success and inspiration from here on out. So thank you for joining me in this meditation. And the purpose of me starting this talk with I just got muted, so let me say again, thank you for taking this time to be in this mindful moment with me. And the reason I started this talk with a mindful moment is because we don't often spend the time to really tune in to what our body is saying to us and what our body needs. So with that, I wanted you to start in a more parasympathetic or relaxed state so you have the opportunity to take in the information that I'm going to provide you. So you're not in your flight mode where you might be running to something else and you're just fully being present. And I thank you for taking the time to be present with me and the San Antonio Library today. So the one thing that people do not realize is that they actually have the power over their own health. They have a lot more power than they think, and we tend to give away a lot of our power. 80% of chronic disease is driven by lifestyle factors. These diseases might include things like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and obesity. And over 95% of the world's population has health problems. Even according to the WHO, that these diseases cause 41 million deaths every year and 71% of all deaths globally. So did you ever think about the fact that you have control over your health and that what you do in your 24 hours of a day, your 7 days a week could actually make a both positive and negative impact on your health? So this is a question that I'm raising to you today, is I really want you to think about what you spend most of your time doing. So now just a few more stats. In the past year, there is no doubt that Americans have developed unhealthy habits. Some of those unhealthy habits are ones like too much screen time, poor eating habits, sleeping too little or too much, increased alcohol intake, neglecting their mental health, and poor work-life balance have definitely increased in the past year, which I'm sure we are going to see more profound outcomes in poor health outcomes as a consequence of that in the future. However, there were some individuals who increased some good habits and ones that they plan to continue in this time, which includes frequent hand washing, staying connected to friends and family. Having connection to community is really important in your health and your health outcomes. Eating more meals at home. That is absolutely going to impact the health of your body, the health of your cells, and prevent disease. Spending more time outside, prioritizing your mental health, cleaning your home more frequently, and wearing face coverings are habits that people plan to continue. So why do we care about our habits? I mean, I'm sure you've heard habits before, and in my mind, habits always lead to a negative connotation. So that's where I'm placing them here. This is how I'm going to help you distinguish the difference between habits, routines, and rituals. Well, we care about habits because they really aren't helping you show up to be your best self. You might lose your potential and motivation of who you're really supposed to be in the world. They also can contribute to premature aging of the human body. And then, of course, acquisition of all those chronic diseases, plus much, much more that I've already mentioned. One of the terminologies that you are going to hear me talk about a lot is called cell care. Cell care to me is taking self-care to another level where we are proactively caring for one's well-being by really utilizing the knowledge you gain and infusing it into your intentional lifestyle practices. As a result, these practices focus on maintaining that healthy mind, body, and spirit throughout life. And that's really where the foundation of this book lies, is talking to you about how the body works and how your daily practices that you can do can help optimize it so you can prevent disease. So now, what are habits, routines, and rituals? Well, most people fall into the familiar daily rhythms that are built around key fixtures like their work life or their school hours. And this familiarity is comforting and it's easy, but it doesn't necessarily help our health so much. And these habits is sometimes something we do that's thoughtless rather than intentional. And this is what can propel us towards dis-ease. So an example of this might be something like, as you're driving home from work, you might get a cue of the golden arches and you're like, okay, well, I've had a rough day at work and I just need to eat something so I can go home and rest. So you pull up through the drive-through, you order a meal, you might supersize it for added value. And this type of reward loop might give you some short-term pleasure, but in the long term, what it does is it is compromising the functionality of your cells. Yes, what you eat impacts each and every one of the cells in your body, and your cells are what make you who you are. So they can either make you healthy and strong, or they can become dysfunctional and create disease. Now, routines, on the other hand, those can be helpful. Routines are maybe a deliberate practice like brushing your teeth, making your bed. Those are really implemented with the understanding that they're ultimately going to make your life better. Now, they can be good. However, the problem with routines, especially like a routine you might have like going to the gym, and you might be like, well, I'm tired of doing this, I'm not going to do it anymore. Routines can make us feel stuck because we're not really in tune with what is important to us and what our body needs most. So then we just stop doing it instead of being more flexible with our life and going, all right, the seasons have changed. This isn't working for me now, but this could. A negative routine also will create a rhythm in your life that doesn't do much for your happiness or health. It's simply a practice you got used to doing. Now, rituals, what they will do is a ritual is an intentional practice with a clear purpose. And with that clear purpose, the intent is that a ritual will heal your symptoms, it might improve your job, and many rituals can lead to a direct experience of gratification. But the overall goal for them is that there's a bigger picture, a long-term picture that is meant to improve your well-being. And the thing I love about rituals is that they help you connect with what is really important, what is truly important to you, important to your life. And designing rituals reminds you that you have the power to take your life in your hands to make healthy changes. So I'm going to propose a question to you. The question is, how intentional is your lifestyle? And I would love for you to put in the chat and share. Are you living on autopilot based off of habits? Do you have a routine, and is that routine feeling a little stale and purposeless? Or do you have practices or rituals? Feel free to put them in the chat so I can kind of gauge where you're at. Yeah, so you have some people have all of these. They have habits, routines, rituals. Some might just have routines right now. Some have habits. Anybody have habits that they're trying to break? What are some of the habits that you're trying to break? Yeah, dietary habits are challenging. Drinking soda, having sweets, eating out, all of these, right? And what are we doing? We're really kind of just doing it on autopilot. We're not thinking about how they might be affecting our body. We're living on autopilot. We're not really conscious of what we're doing. Ice cream, yep. Yeah, ice cream's a great one. Sugar, fast foods, and sweets. Yeah, so I can't possibly say it louder, clearer, more importantly than food is the fuel for your body. Food is the fuel for your cells. So whatever you give your body, your cells will either use and keep you healthy where you don't feel any symptoms, or if you don't give your body what it needs, that's where symptoms start coming from. Your cells start talking to you. Your cells become angry. Those are symptoms. When I'm telling you about symptoms, I'm saying that your cells are communicating with you and you have the opportunity to listen to them or not. And the earlier you start listening to them, the earlier you can reverse disease and prevent it. Yeah, so if things like staying up late has become a habit for you, thinking about, all right, how am I feeling the next day? Do I have energy the next day? Do I feel tired? And is this really the right thing for me to do? How is that impacting my mental health? Why might I do certain things during holidays? You know, this is not necessarily about willpower. This is more about thinking what is best for me and really loving yourself and respecting yourself enough to take care of yourself. So that's where I say that the more intentional you become and the more self-aware you become, meaning you're tuned into what your body needs, is with rituals. That's how you're going to do it. So why do I care about self-awareness? I care about self-awareness because it is one of the 5 skills for emotional intelligence. And when people are having a challenging time dealing with their emotions, this is really important to develop these skills of emotional intelligence. And if you haven't heard the terminology of emotional intelligence before, it's really your ability, your own ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions. And the 5 skills in that are self-awareness, self-regulation, social skills, empathy, and intrinsic motivation. All of these I go further into in chapter 9 of the book. However, I just wanted to mention that because one of the first steps to getting healthier is self-awareness and becoming in tune for what you need in that day for your body. So that is really important. So now, what are the benefits of rituals? Rituals will help you organize your day. They will optimize the day so your brain is clear for other things. It helps you develop that deeper connection with yourself. And it also helps you identify an aim and purpose. Having an aim and purpose in life can be one of the most significant factors from healing from disease, from preventing disease, and really helping you get through the challenges as they arise. So as a reminder, habits are for short-term pleasure. Routines are for your daily maintenance, but rituals are really for your longer-term functional well-being. And when I'm talking about functional well-being, I'm talking about your cells. If you're experiencing symptoms, your cells are talking to you, they are angry, and they are asking you to give them what they need, whether that is more nutritious food, whether that is sleep, whether that is movement. Your body is meant to move. Your body is communicating with you, and it's up to you to listen to it. So let's move on now to the science of rituals. And is there some science behind this? Well, before we can talk about the science of rituals, I've got another question for you. Stages of change. It is really important that you know that changing your behavior is a multi-step process. In fact, there's 5 stages in change. So in order for you to make positive changes in your life through rituals, you must first acknowledge where you are in your journey to change. So let me give you an example here. The 5 stages are pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. And everyone's on their own journey when it comes to health, wellness, and well-being, okay? So this is not about comparing yourself to anybody else, and especially please do not compare yourself to what you see on social media. This is really about prioritizing your health for you. So we can use an example of, say, a man went to his annual doctor's appointment, and his doctor said to him, well, Joe, your lab tests are showing me that you are pre-diabetic, and that that's what your blood work is showing. And I'm going to recommend that you need to make some changes in your diet and improve your exercise habits in order to prevent this from coming on even further. And this is Joe's pre-contemplation stage. So he might be like, okay, he'll think about it, but he really doesn't want to do anything yet. He's like, nah, it's just a lab test, doesn't mean much to me. He's not feeling anything. Can anybody resonate with this? Have they ever, has the doctor ever told you something and you're like, okay, well, that's fine. I don't know, you know, maybe your cholesterol came back high or your blood pressure's high. You didn't think much of it. Well, the next stage is contemplation. So this man might complain about making changes, and he's really resistant. He'll look at the pros and cons. He'll be like, well, okay, if I went for a walk, that might be good, but the con is then I have to give up watching my TV show. So now he's kind of negotiating with himself for what's important. Then the preparation phase is where you realize that you need to make a change and you actively prepare to bring it about. So this individual, Joe, he might start paying attention to his body, increase that self-awareness and go, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit of tingling in my fingers and toes, and they're hurting, and maybe I need to do something. Is this what my doctor told me could affect me if I develop diabetes? And maybe he goes to his wife and he says, all right, we need to make a plan. We need to make change. So he actively starts that preparation. So then the action happens. The next stage in change is you start taking steps towards that change. So maybe Joe goes for daily bike rides, and maybe he starts switching out his bagel for a smoothie in the mornings. He's making actual change. And then the tough part always is the maintenance. And the maintenance is where you're doing the hard work of maintaining those changes through staying committed. And that's really where rituals can be beneficial, because in this stage, they are purpose-driven and they can help you recall your commitment. So I want you to think about, where are you in your stage of change, and can you maybe go to the next stage? Can you maybe take one step forward to, all right, you've recognized that sugar might not be helping my energy levels, or you've recognized that staying up late isn't helping your mental clarity. Can you make the next step for, all right, maybe I won't bring sugar-laden treats into the house as the first step, or maybe I will go to bed earlier and not put a TV or electronics in my bedroom. Maybe there's some steps you can take there. So with that, self-care is making a small intentional progress every day that will make your cells strong and healthy so your whole body can thrive. So I want to introduce you to this concept of neuroplasticity. If you have not heard of neuroplasticity, how many people have heard of neuroplasticity? Put a yes or no in the chat so I know if you've heard of this concept. Okay, there's a few that have. Great, great. So you guys are familiar with this, right? So this is research. Okay, so there's some that's not sure what it means. So we'll go over what it means. So this was some research that came out of the University of Berkeley in California from Marianne Diamond, where they determined that the brain has both the capacity of structural and functional change, meaning that with each and every experience, you can change the neuronal connections in your brain. So can you imagine what would change your brain the most? New experiences, right? So what does neuroplasticity have to do with rituals? Well, since neuroplasticity is the ability of your neuronal networks in the brain to change through growth and reorganization, that requires you to make a deliberate action to cause those structural and chemical changes. So ultimately, creating rituals and really being in tune with what do I need most for my mind, body, and spirit today, this week, this month, and having rituals in place for that will rewire your brain into a positive way. So when you do a specific action or think a particular thought, your brain creates a neural pathway, and that path becomes more established every time that action or thought is repeated. And that connection between those brain cells gets reinforced and strengthened. So imagine you see a field, like it's just a green grassy field, and the grasses are really tall. And every day you start walking that field, and the path might not be that clear on day one, maybe not even on day 5. But as you continue to walk that path, that same path becomes clearer and clearer. And that's really what's happening in your brain, is that we are getting a clearer path and it becomes easier. Now, how can this work negatively? Well, this can work negatively because, say, for example, you spend a lot of time with people who are a negative influence. Maybe you're spending time with people who like to, party and drink every weekend, or eat lots of fast food, or maybe just spend time on the couch and live a sedentary life. Or maybe you're spending time with people who like to gossip and just talk negative things. Well, guess what? Those neural connections will also become stronger. And that is your choice with what you spend your time doing, right? So if you want to experience new changes and new emotions in your life, you need to have new experiences. You need to get out of what you are used to doing that may not be helping you and start doing new things that will positively help you. So with that, like I said, the brain structure and function can change as a result of experiences and environmental influences. Your brain can recognize these new stimuli and grow appropriately. It's flexible for these. And rituals really maximize the effectiveness by leveraging this concept of neuroplasticity. It gives your brain the practice it needs to stimuli in new ways, thereby affecting that structural network to promote well-being. So you might be thinking, all right, what are rituals in practice? What are some things that maybe people that I might be familiar with are already doing? And why are they doing them if you don't already have a ritual practice? Well, let me give you a few examples. So I am a tennis player. I follow tennis players. And so I like Serena Williams, Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, my favorite. I'm still trying to figure out what his ritual is. But Serena Williams, what does she do? She makes sure that her family and friends sit in the same seats in her player's box for each game. Why does she do this? She does this to reassure the site that knowing where they sit provides a sense of comfort and support. How does that comfort and support translate? Well, when she knows that they're up there and when she's having a challenging time on the court, she can look up right at them, and then that reassures her that everything's going to be okay, right? So This is an emotional ritual she has. This is a comforting ritual. This is a ritual where she's tapping into her emotional intelligence. She knows what she needs in order to be successful. Now, Rafael Nadal, what does he do? He eats the same foods in the same order every time before matches. He also drinks water and recovery drinks in a specific order and places them in the same exact location by his player's chair. So if you've ever watched, right next to his chair, he's got his drinks lined up, and you'll see, and if you start paying attention, he's drinking them in a specific way because he knows what fuel he needs to fuel his cells so he can play 4-hour matches, right? So I want you to think about what are some things that you can put in place to fuel your cells. Could you maybe next time you go to the grocery store, buy whatever fruit is in season and have that available on the shelf in your refrigerator at eye level? Easy enough. That's step one. Step two, of course, is to take it out of the fridge. Step three is to eat it regularly. But we are all starting at different places on our wellness journey. How about some other people who do rituals? Oprah Winfrey. So Oprah Winfrey starts her morning with 20 minutes of meditation every day. Why exactly does she do this? Well, she does this because she says it provides her with hope, a sense of contentment, and deep joy. Right? So that sounds good, right? Now, not everybody can maybe meditate. Maybe they find meditating challenging. Well, maybe you can go for a walk. Think about what it is that brings you joy that is going to positively affect your health, and start there with the easiest place possible. Maybe you get joy from dancing. Start there. So don't make health more complicated than it needs to be. Barack Obama, he rises early before 5 a.m. and he prioritizes getting morning exercise and never misses it. And his rituals not only help his body stay energized, but they also provide comfort. So this is a way for people to deal with unpredictable factors, uncertainty. So building rituals into your morning, into your afternoon, into your evening, into your weekend, they can vary from season to season, will definitely help with periods of uncertainty. They will help with periods of challenge and difficulty. So let me give you an example of a patient. So I have this patient, Yuki, and she knows she needs to eat healthier, but she's also a mom. And she has a very, very busy schedule taking care of her kids, making sure that, everything, they're getting their homework done, they're getting off to school in time. So she's working too. So she doesn't have the time or energy or bandwidth to really prepare the meals that she knows are healthy for her family every night. But she also knows that picking up fast food on her way home from work is not helping her children's health, especially their mental health. So what did we start doing with her? We started saying, all right, well, we have to prioritize our health. What is something that she could do that could help for the whole week, right? So she started doing meal prep. So every Sunday, she would start doing meal prep and she would engage her family in it. Meaning, all right, the family's home on Sunday, right? So she'd start by planning her meals, and she'd go to the grocery store or the farmer's market. She'd bring the kids along with her because then that way, everybody kind of was involved in the process. They had an investment in it that, all right, this is what I want to eat for the week. So it's not just mom making the decisions. Then on the weekend, on Sunday, she would slice all the fruits and vegetables for the week ahead, label them in glass containers. She'd have the children that were old enough also cut and prep, and then the younger ones would put them into the containers. So getting the whole family involved. This advanced meal prep really helped her and her family balance their hectic schedules with their needs. So that way, when she'd come home after work and the kids come home from school and everyone's hungry, she'd have that ready and she'd be able to prepare the meals in under 10 minutes so she could spend more time with the family, right? So you might want to examine what aspect of your life can you maybe look at that could use a little bit of improvement. So now you might be wondering, all right, so this sounds good, but how exactly am I going to do this? How am I going to make this plan? Well, the first step is identifying the goal. Right, so we often will start with a well-being assessment to identify the areas that are going to be most beneficial for an intentional ritual. So maybe you're thinking you want to improve your physical well-being, maybe you want to decrease stress. The next thing is, step 2 is to articulate your intention. So having an intention gives you purpose. It enables you to plan for effective change, and it aligns you with your goals. Now, I had one patient initially tell me that her goal was to lose weight. And I said, okay, that's fine, but why exactly do you want to lose weight? All right. So we dived into exactly what was important for her to lose weight. It was really so she could have more energy, and especially when she went on vacation with her husband, because every time she went on vacation, her husband wanted to do this activity and that activity, and she just wanted to stay in the hotel room. So her motivation was not necessarily about, I want to lose weight to look good, which is what she thought initially. It was really to keep up with her husband. So that gave her something to look forward to. Now, what did she do to work towards that goal? What is the ritual she created? Well, she started with going for 10-minute walks every day, every morning. Then after about a month, she increased her walk time to 20 minutes. And then she started placing those rituals, other rituals in her life that she wanted to improve. So on her way home from work, she'd stop at a park on the days that she would leave early. So I want you, like, this is really looking at our 24 hours in a day. Like I said, becoming more intentional. Now, let's see. So here are some questions to reflect on. All right, so when we are reflecting, it gives us an opportunity to really see what is important to us. All of these questions are available in the journal that was provided. If you did not have a chance to download that journal, I did put the link in there for you. But let's think about this. How would you describe 24 hours in your day? What kind of habits and routines are you already doing? When you wake up, how do you begin the day? As you wind down, how do you end your night? And are most of your rhythms matter of habits, routines, or rituals? And are there any aspects in your daily routines you think could be enhanced for better well-being? Right? So we always want to reflect on what is going on in our life. We don't take a moment to reflect and be present. That's really living on autopilot. All right. So now as we go through and we design our well-being, right, we want to think about your thoughts that you might have about changing your routine with some intentional rituals. Consider maybe doing a brain dump where you're decluttering your mind and you're just kind of writing down everything and then looking at where you can place it in your day. And ultimately, what I want to get you to is your fulfillment and what is going to be fulfilling. So now I only had an opportunity to share one small foundational aspect of the book, but really this book does a lot more than that. It goes into your mindset, your body's ecosystem, meaning how exactly does your body and all your organs function? How do you nourish it? From what foods do you eat? What vitamins, minerals, antioxidants are you gaining from those foods to prevent disease? How do you set up your recovery and your sleep rituals? How do you move your body, and what movement do we need to do? This is not about going from 0 to 100 and doing activity that doesn't make our body feel good. This is why a lot of people fail when they start in the new year and they're like, okay, they sign up for the gym membership. We are all guilty of doing that. And we go the first week and then we don't go again. And then we spend all our time getting out of a contract for a gym membership, right? So I want you to think about what kind of movement is something that will be sustainable for you. Maybe just walking, starting with walking. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. Then we talk about removing toxins from our body because they will impair your cellular health. We talk about our emotional well-being because without that, we really have a struggle in life. And then we talk about how to set up our home and our space, and both our workplace and our home space, in a way that we are clearing out the clutter so we can live our most fulfilled life. So that's all to come in 500 or more pages of that. And each of them walks you through how your body works in those aspects, how your brain works, how your digestive tract works. And then, of course, we do have additional resources. So if you want to download the Anatomy of Wellbeing Compendium Journal, it has all the exercises that are in the book in one separate place. So I'm a pen to paper person. I love to write about all these things and really reflect back and look at all these things. And then once again, my book is available on Amazon, The Anatomy of Wellbeing. So you can grab a copy there. You can also ask the San Antonio Library to make sure they have a copy of the book available for you. And then if you would like to connect with me, my website is Dr. Benote, and on social media, I am Dr. Benote. And I do have a program called the Lifestyle Design Lab available to help you crush your mindless habits and go to a really intentional lifestyle. And thank you. And I'm open to any questions you might have.